Welcome to my channel. This is Captain Binoy Varakil, Assistant Professor, Department of English, St. Joseph's College, Devgiri, Kozhikode, Kerala. We discussed the Poetics of Aristotle in this series of lectures, and this is lecture number 5. And in this lecture, we discuss the chapters 13, 14, 15, and 16. 13th chapter is about tragic action. So he says that, Aristotle says that tragic action must be capable of awakening fear and pity in the spectators. And he says that in order to create fear and pity in the spectators, the heroes must be of some quality. And he speaks about 4 kinds of heroes, and he doesn't approve the first 3. And he says that the last kind of hero can be, of course, very effective, and they can create pity and fear in the spectators. So let us look at the 4 kinds of heroes Aristotle speaks about. Aristotle initially says that heroes must not be bad men coming to a bad end, because people will not like that there is no moral in heroes being bad and coming to bad end. So he doesn't like that. And second kind of heroes are, of course, bad men coming to good end. So he doesn't want heroes or action of the tragedy to have such kind of incidents in which a bad man is coming to a good man, because it is neither moving nor moral. There is no morality in that. A bad man should not come to a good end. So he doesn't want heroes to be, of course, bad men, and he doesn't want the heroes to come to good end. That wouldn't create a tragic effect in the audience. And number 3, Aristotle doesn't want a very bad man coming to a bad end, though moral not moving. So he says that, okay, we want justice, like a bad man should not have a good end. A bad man definitely must have a bad end. And Aristotle says that, okay, there is moral in it, but it is not moving. So what kind of actions will move the spectator? What kind of actions will awaken pity and fear? That is the 4th. He says that tragedy must be about, there must be heroes who are rather good men. Rather a good man coming to a bad end, not due to vice, but rather some error or hamartia, error in judgment. So this type of action, this type of actions of heroes, this type of people, like people who are, they are rather good, not extremely good. So he doesn't approve extremities like very good people, very bad people. No. There must be rather good men coming to bad end, and such kinds of heroes will be will be believed by the spectators, and they will be creating, of course, pity and fear, awakening pity and fear in the spectator. And their fall, their failure, or their tragedy is not because of any kind of vice or any kind of problem, anything that is very bad in them, but because of some failure to understand, or failure, maybe something like an error in judgment. Maybe some are, of course, very they fail to understand things in the right way. So it is, of course, such kind of action that can lead to pity and fear. And he is concluding the chapter. Aristotle concludes the chapter by just speaking about, of course, all these 4 kind of heroes. Number 1, of course, good men. Number 2, very bad men. Number 3, again, very bad men coming to, of course, a bad end. And number 4, rather a good man. So why he is avoiding the extremities that we have here at the end of the chapter. I'm reading from the text. There remains a mean between these extremities, or these extremes. This is the sort of man who is not conspicuous for virtue and justice, and whose fall into misery is not due to vice and depravity, but rather to some error, a man who enjoys prosperity and high reputation like Oedipus and Thyestes and other famous members of families like theirs. So it is because of some tragic flow, some hamartia, they have their problems, their misery, their suffering, and such actions are recommended by Aristotle. Now we move on to chapter 14. Chapter 14 is titled Fear and Pity. So in this chapter titled Fear and Pity, Aristotle talks to us what kinds of incidents are fearful and pitiable. And we know that there must be, Aristotle says that there must be some conflict between friends. So ideal action dramatizes conflict between two friends. And he says, great tragedy does not depend much upon scenic effects or spectacle. The action may deal with an encounter between friend and friend, enemy and enemy, or two neutral men. So this kind of action, like incidents or sufferings involving dear and near, like a brother killing brother, son killing father, mother son, son mother, husband wife, like in Othello, like in Hamlet, like in Oedipus Rex, maybe in, of course, Duchess of Malfi, or in the recent movies like, of course, Malik or anything. You can see sufferings involving dear and near. Such type of plots, such type of incidents are just appropriate for causing fear and pity, according to Aristotle. And with that, we just come to the end of chapter 14, and we move on to chapter 15. Aristotle speaks about characters of tragedy. What kind of characters should be there in tragedy? And he speaks about 4 types of tragic characters, and they are, in fact, the characters should be good. Number 1, the heroes or the characters should be good. Like Macbeth was good, Othello was good, then again Lear was good, Dr. Faustus was good. Okay, so the first aspect of tragic characters is goodness. They must be good. Characters must be good. Number 2, the portrayal of the characters should be appropriate. Okay, we must feel, the spectators must feel that the portrayal, the representation, the delineation of the characters must be appropriate. We should see that, yeah, this is okay, this is appropriate, this is suitable. So that is the second aspect of tragic characters. And number 3, the characters should be lifelike. They must be real. We must believe them. We must trust them, accept them. So the characters should be lifelike. And the 4th aspect of tragic characters, they must be consistent. They must be consistent. Like Hamlet with his delay, with his doubt, delay, like should I to be or not to be? All right, that kind of delaying things must be consistent. It is consistent with Hamlet. So also the gullibility and the suspicion of Othello is again consistent. So similarly, characters must be consistent. So they do something in scene 1 and they should not do the opposite of that in scene 2, or they do something, they are of course presented as very, very suspicious or gullible in act 1, and they must not be presented as very, very sincere and dependable and just trusting and believing the friends and members of the family in the subsequent act. So that is inconsistent. There must be a consistency in the character. So these are the 4 aspects of characters that Aristotle is asking the dramatist to remember while making characters. The characters must be of course, having these four characteristics or aspects like being good, being appropriate, lifelike, and consistent. Now we come to chapter 16, and in chapter 16, Aristotle speaks about different kinds of discovery. So I think chapter 12 we saw, of course, discovery, that is anagnorisis and peripetia, reversal, discovery, and calamity. And in this chapter 16, Aristotle talks to us about discovery. What is discovery? Discovery is ignorance, okay, change from ignorance to understanding, ignorance to knowledge. So this a transformation and a change from ignorance to knowledge is what is discovery. We didn't know anything about a character in the past, but suddenly we know about that character. We want to know about that character. So this kind of transformation, or rather the kind of change from, of course, ignorance to knowledge is what is discovery. And ignorance to knowledge can be effected goes through 6 kinds of discovery. And he speaks about like all the 6 kinds of goodness according to its rank. And the best is the appropriate discovery, or anagnorisis is the last one. Aristotle is suggesting 6 kinds of discovery, and he tells his opinion about the 6 kinds of discovery, and we understand that he is approving the 6th one. And in short, the spectators look at the characters, and maybe when something is known about the character, maybe something that the character did, of course the spectators are shocked, and this kind of shocking of the spectators must be natural according to Aristotle. And the secrecy or the mystery or the unraveling of the identity of the characters is done through different techniques, and that is, of course, discovery. And it can be done with 6 ways it can be done. And number 1 is, okay, signs. So we think that maybe a character is a shepherd, but suddenly maybe a bodily mark is found on the shepherd, and it is found that with that bodily mark, this shepherd is not a shepherd. This is, of course, a prince. So that is the first way, signs. Like the character's identity revealed through, of course, maybe bodily mark. So Aristotle next lists the types of recognition available to a poet. First, there is recognition by signs, bodily marks, external ornaments like jewelry, or some other marking that delineates the secret identity of a person. Aristotle calls this type of recognition least artistic type. So he doesn't approve discovery through bodily marks. And now we move to the second kind of discovery. Second, there is recognition invented by will. So, okay, like in Winter's Tale, we don't know anything about Perdita's identity. Everybody thinks that Perdita is a shepherd's daughter. But suddenly, the shepherd says that, or later at a juncture, in a very, maybe in a situation, it is revealed that Perdita is, when the baby girl was found, there was a will, and as per the will, the baby girl is the daughter of a king, and that is invention by, of course, will. And this sudden revelation of an identity without forewarning or necessity, this too, Aristotle says, is a type of device wanting in art. And Aristotle doesn't approve the second type of discovery, the revelation of the identity of a character. And third type of recognition or discovery is from memory, where a character sees an object and it awakens a feeling and a recognition from reasoning. Okay, so that is like in Shakuntala, when King Dushyant then sees the ring brought by the fisherman, he remembers all the story he forgot, all the incidents he forgot, and suddenly he is, of course, so sad that he did not accept Shakuntala. So this is, of course, a discovery through different objects, and Aristotle is not very happy with this kind of discovery as well. Now the fourth type of discovery is a kind of discovery in which the character determines a secret identity through a process of deduction. So the revelation of the identity of a particular character is done through the logical reasoning of the other characters, and this is the very this is the fourth type. And Aristotle is not very happy with this again, and now we have the fifth kind of recognition. Fifth kind of recognition is involving messenger, right? It's in fact a false interference. You don't know anything about, or you think that somebody is a shepherd, somebody is, of course, maybe, right, of low birth, but suddenly there is a false interference, like a messenger is coming, an ambassador is coming, and the messenger tells us that this is not a farmer, this is not a shepherd, this is an aristocratic, this is a knight, or this is, of course, a prince or a princess, right? And this is discovery through messengers. And Aristotle says that there are better options, and in the sixth kind of discovery, Aristotle says that this is the best. Say, for example, the sixth and the best type of recognition is one that arises from the incidents themselves, and the discovery is made naturally in the course of the plot. So here there is no interference, no bodily marks, no will, no recognition from memory, no interference by a messenger. Here it is just natural, very naturally, all the mystery, all the secrecy about the identity of the character is unraveled, and it happens in Oedipus Rex. Aristotle points to Oedipus Rex as the model, the best, since nothing in the construction of the revelation is artificial. It is simply a process of the plots unraveling from the center, an essential core of the drama's unity. So Aristotle says that the transition from the movement from ignorance to knowledge, that is discovery, must be very natural, and there must not be any interference like a messenger, or there isn't any object or a will or anything. So okay, all this is possible, and dramatists depend on all these kind of techniques for discovery. Okay, we have plays, all right, but the best kind of discovery is natural, slow development. The incidents, as the incidents evolve, or as the story just progresses slowly, everything is so sequential, and we understand that a character we thought to be, we thought as maybe a shepherd, is not a real shepherd. So such a natural unraveling or revelation is the best according to Aristotle. There should not be any artificial kind of revelation or discovery. So with this we can conclude this lecture. So thanks a lot for listening. May God bless you.